Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a second review today of Xerjoff's Torino. So if you're curious to know more about that, don't go away. So welcome back everyone. Really quickly, as always, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you can do so by clicking the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way when I do release a new video, you'll be the first to know. So as I mentioned, this is a brand new release from Xerjoff. I am doing a second impressions video. So I did wear this all day yesterday and today. Yesterday I did my first impressions video where I really only got the top and the middle, but I started wearing this all day yesterday and today, so I have a better idea of how it performs and how it sits on my skin, as well as how it develops. So I'm here to give you guys my second impressions. So before we do that though, let's just recap what is Torino. So Xerjoff's Torino is meant to pay homage to Xerjoff's flagship city and store in Turin, Italy. So their flagship store is based in Turin, Italy. It's also where their founder, Xerjoff, resides. So this was available on the website from Xerjoff's Universe for about 2 or 3 days. They took it off the website and now you can only get it from their actual boutique. So if you are looking to get your nose on this one, you can get it from their boutique, or if you can maybe find it on the Facebook groups. So what do we get from Xerjoff's Torino? Well, to recap, on first spray, let's just actually spray this because I've been wearing this one all day, so I want to just remind myself what you get on the top. You know, this is a stunner. This is an absolute winner. So right off the top, you get this very mouth-watering, photorealistic, very juicy Brazilian orange. And it's not just the orange that is really breathtaking, but it's also paired with this very nice, warm, cozy black pepper. And you can use black pepper in different ways. The way they use it here is a very warm, cozy feel. And it's married with this neroli oil. And the neroli oil is giving it almost an astringency, like a bitter astringency. But it's also giving it a kind of a playful vibe. So it's giving this kind of a casual, playful aspect in the top, where it's not kind of taking itself too seriously. And the orange here reminds me a lot of the orange in Xerjoff Symphonium. I think they use a different kind of orange. It also reminds me of the orange in Lyra, which I believe is blood orange. But those aspects of how they use orange in Xerjoff is kind of similar. So you get the very similar vibe here. It's really fantastic. If you guys love really nice citrus openings, this is going to be one for you. Now, as it dries down into the heart, as I mentioned, you get this in the neroli oil, this astringency, and the black pepper, but it starts marrying and playing with this this Haitian vetiver. And the Haitian vetiver is somewhat dry, it's green, it's a touch earthy, and it's combined with this Gaiac wood. And the Gaiac wood here gives us a woodsy, kind of a soft-bodied feel, where it starts going into a little bit of an oriental territory, and you start getting this these stages of this fragrance. It's not linear, so it goes from this very nice citrus sort of astringent aspect to this very warm, spicy, really almost this kind of illustrious feel. And honestly, the spiciness of this fragrance in the heart reminds me of Xerjoff Starlight, where it has this kind of this spice cabinet feel as it's starting to dry down into the heart. Now, this fragrance really starts shape-shifting because it starts taking many stages. As it goes into the heart to the base, that's where I really start loving this fragrance, because it starts going into a bit of a gourmand territory with the vanilla and the caramel starting to meld together. Now, the vanilla here actually reminds me of the vanilla in Lyra. It has a very kind of a similar vanillic feel, but that caramel combined with the vanilla is really fantastic. The caramel here is kind of a caramel that you would get in like a candied apple, not when the caramel has been dried already and ready to eat, when it's actually being made and rendered. You're smelling that fresh caramel wafting through the air. It's really, really delicious. Now, there's no chocolate listed in the notes here, but I think with the caramel and the vanilla and the vetiver and Gaiac wood, that combination must create some kind of a chocolatey accord, because it starts giving a almost chocolatey, delicious feel. And it definitely starts going into a gourmand territory, but it is not a gourmand fragrance. It definitely has a darker, more of a refined feel to it that doesn't allow itself to just stick to one category. It's a gourmand fragrance in some aspects, it's a darker oriental fragrance in some aspects, and it definitely sits in between both camps. But that vanilla, that caramel, that slightly chocolatey core that you get, almost in almost like a patchouli vibe too, like this sweet, decadent, somewhat earthy vibe from the Gaiac Wood and Vetiver gives it almost a patchouli vibe as well, that I think is really, really interesting. And you start getting that from the base. Now, what's really fascinating about this fragrance, the way they blended it, must be very unique, because it's not just it doesn't just stay in the base. You start getting hints of that orange again. You start getting hints of the black pepper and that spice, and then you start getting that base again. So it starts kind of bouncing around from different stages. It's very unique. I really like this one a lot. This is definitely a winner. And if you're someone who likes or loves gourmand fragrances or sweet fragrances as well as darker fragrances, this is going to be right up your alley. I think this is going to be a great fragrance in the wintertime. As it starts getting colder, it's going to start becoming more and more prominent. It's going to start lasting a long time. Now, I get about 8 to 10 hours on skin, which is a long-lasting fragrance in my opinion. It doesn't project for, let's say, 3 or 4 hours. It projects for about an hour, and then after the hour mark, it starts sitting a bit close to the skin, but I can still smell it during the day. I can still smell it from time to time, but it definitely doesn't jump off the skin or scream off the skin. It's going to be the one that sits closer to your scent bubble. That being said, I think this is definitely a casual and upscale fragrance because of the nature of the mandarin orange, the neroli oil, and the black pepper that give it a kind of a playful feel. Those components lend itself to a more of a casual nature that this can be worn in a casual setting, dressed down. But because of its more refined and sophisticated qualities with the vanilla, the caramel, that sort of a chocolatey accord, this can definitely be worn dressed up as well. And this is 100% unisex. This can be worn by men or women. So if you're someone who is worried about wearing a fragrance that's going to be too sweet, I don't think this is going to be that fragrance. It's going to be definitely right up your alley, and I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be divisive. I think most people will like this one quite a bit. And for me, I'm definitely sold on this one. This one is a really fantastic release from Xerjoff. I'm glad they put out a release before the year kind of winds down that really kind of pays homage to the fact that made me fall in love with this house to begin with. A lot of the releases like Italica and Symphonium and Via Cavour 1 and Starlight, those are some of the fragrances that from at least from their gourmand fragrances that I really started to fall in love with the house. And this kind of leans in that territory, and it made me kind of become excited again for Xerjoff to put out more fragrances. So let me know, guys, down below in the comments if you smell this one, and if you haven't smelled it, what fragrances are you really excited about from Xerjoff? If Xerjoff was to put out a new fragrance, what would you want them to put out? What would you want it to smell like? I'd be really curious to know. So that's it, guys. That's it for my review. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. It really means the world to me. As always, stay safe and take care of each other. Bye, guys.